we might be... If he scanned the main, he should know his Arbor's up. So yeah, most likely is going for Science Vessels to get those EMPs off against those forces on the ground. Meanwhile, Movie should have his third up on the way, moving some Dragoons out, thinking of mind clearing. Yeah, he has an Observer in play. So he should be able to clear that fairly well. While the 12 o'clock still just now being rebuilt. So Movie doing fairly well as he's waiting for his Arbiters, just expecting to see what he's managed to do alongside getting his Forge up. So upgrades are going to be imminent as well.
Yeah, it's very, very close so far in terms of bases, but unfortunately for a movie, I think when it's very, very close, it kind of plays into Terran favor. 3 base on 3 base is definitely towards the Terran advantage, and that 3rd base for movie is not going to be significantly ahead of the 3rd base for Canata either. So I think Canata's going to come out a little bit ahead of this, and same as last game, I think he's scouting very well with his composite stations, playing very, very smart. He does have those dual armories now, so we will be able to get the upgrades. But in the last game, we saw him push out just as the carrier numbers were low and didn't have a lot of interceptors. Did a ton of damage, taking out 2 bases that way, and that really gave him. That really was the pivotal moment that gave him the victory, I think. And this game, throwing down that early science vessel, seeing those 2 arbiters. So if he can get an EMP on the first arbiter, that's some painful stuff there. That's really tough to take. Like I almost relate that to like in PvZ when if you're going for like a Corsair Reaver build or something and you lose your first Corsair, like you're gonna fall behind for a while. It takes a while to get back to that critical mass. And in the same way with arbiters, you kind of need the 2nd and the 3rd stasis really to do a lot of damage and to really take control of a battle here. And it looks like Movie's going for a base at the bottom left, but Canata moving in with the Vulture, and he's going to see this, and he's not actually bothering to shoot it, just sort of chillaxing there, like chilling like a villain there, not going to throw it. There you go! Finally decides to go and kill the Vulture, or kill the little probe. I'm surprised it took so long. And also with these Vultures being harassive, and oh, Mine's coming in, taking down 4 Dragoons. Count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 Dragoons. That's painful for Movie. Movie trying to take another base at the top right. This is ridiculous. I don't know what Movie's trying to do. He looks like he's trying to take every base on the map right now. And I don't know about this. Like I kinda don't like it, to be honest. Like if he does get the base up in the bottom left somehow, that means he'll have 3 distinct places on the map to defend, which is really, really hard. I mean, at the same point, you can try and force the Terran player out of position, but it kind of puts you in a bad spot right now. And the Arbiter is moving out. Probably going to be a recall so early. Normally we see stasis, then energy, then recall, but it looks like we're going to see probably a recall force here. It's going to be a small recall, maybe bring in another... Maybe he might be bringing some other forces back, might even recall another Arbiter with it, I don't know. But he is definitely positioning himself for a recall right now and actually gathering up the remaining goons, so this could actually end up being a kind of a large recall. And if he places it well, it could do a lot of damage. And I don't know if Canata really has mines in his base. I don't know if he's really placed them to prepare for this sort of thing. And he is moving in for it right now, but there are a couple of turrets, so he's going to have to do the recall, I think, pretty soon here. And is he going to get through? Yeah, he is actually going to be able to get through the main, but there's another turret, and there's some mines there. There are some mines, but I don't think there are enough mines, and the science vessel is in the area, going to give him lots of detection, and these mines are going off doing some damage, and there's a lot of tanks, and I think the tanks might actually be enough to clear this out. There's only like 5 units left. Yeah, the tanks on the low ground and on the high ground, along with a couple mines, going to be enough. There's like 4 units left, 3 Dragoons and a Zell, but it's not going to be nearly enough. So the Vultures of reinforcing units are going to be enough, and I think right now Canata, if he pushes out right now with a bunch of units, could actually do a lot of damage right now. The counterattack should be very, very effective, as this recall did virtually nothing. Virtually nothing. I mean, maybe killed half a dozen SCVs, if that. Killed off a few military units, but overall that recall was very, very lackluster, kind of along with that DT drop, doing very, very little damage, doing a lot less than it really should have. It's in the same state of Movie just did not do enough damage with that Arbiter. So I think Movie's kind of dug himself a little bit of a hole here. And once Canata pushes out, whether it's at 2-1 or 3-2 or 3-3 at whatever upgrades he wants, whatever side count he wants, whenever he decides to push out, I think it's going to be a really, really tough, I think, for Movie push out. Although he is setting up for another recall. We'll see how successful this is. But there are, I think Canata's going to be prepared for this, as he's moved his science vessel into the area as well. And I think Canata needs to, or I think Movie needs to be really, really careful, because he could lose that Arbiter with the addition of more turrets coming up in Canata's main.
Try to mill around forces just outside his base to try to make sure he has all of his grounds covered. The longer the upper right and the lower left gets to mine, as I say that, takes yet another base. I've seen Movie do this before, just taking bases all over the place, and I've seen him do this and get in positions where it looks like he's losing, but in the end he just manages to hold those bases for so long that he just ends up over-macking the other guy. Gonna go for yet another recall right to the natural, huge recall, just as Canata was moving out with his forces, but all these tanks going to be forced back now. These Dragoons not really going to be able to manage too much. Tanks are going to siege up. EMP goes off on those goons alongside, and just these are going to melt completely. The recall is not being overall too successful, unless he's the only thing he was doing trying to do here is you know, slow down the push. Almost getting a decent mind drag in. Not quite getting it. A mini recall. Yeah, right up at the 12 o'clock, got for a mini recall, so at least not really that many troops very close to that position. At least going to force the SCVs to go off. The Size Vessels and Vultures moving, they're going to be able to clean this up. We're going to see probably not going to be able to manage to get the command center, but still just at least being overall irritating, just the kind of play we really expect from Movie. Canata playing very standard, still staying on his 3 bases, and very comfortable on his 3 gases, really. I'm expecting he's kind of waiting for his 2-1 up, 2-1, 2-2 upgrades before he wants to push out. Maybe he can wait all the way for 3-2 for it to get decides to go for that killer push. But I think the longer he waits, the worse it's going to end up being for him. Because that's exactly kind of what Movie's trying to do. He's trying to delay until he gets his macro up to the point that he's so many bases over Canata. It doesn't really matter if he starts losing bases in any location. He's going to be able to macro up, just get so many forces out on the ground. I've seen him do this before. He knows this has worked out for him before, so he's just going to try to do this yet again. Thinking of going for yet another recall as his upper right hand is going to get fairly heavily harassed. There is an Arbiter coming in at least to, gets EMP'd though, so he's at least not going to be able to bring in any sort of reinforcement. Upper right hand position is going to get lost, so the fact that he's spreading himself thin definitely come to pay him back. We're going to see whether this actually going to be a chance for me to recall right inside of Canata's base yet again. I'm not quite sure if he has enough forces yet built up. He has actually a decent sized exclusionary force, is preparing for recall, is actually going to recall. Man, I'm calling it like crazy today. 6 turrets in position though. We're going to see what actually managed to get that off. Canata does have other forces in the area, so it might be dangerous for Movie to go for this. Science is going to spot. He's going to run right into all those turrets. Recall! Gonna get the recall, lose the Arbiter in the process. I'm gonna see there are some forces, not that many tanks, a lot of mines, not very close enough. Ooh, it's losing some SCVs, a lot of SCVs dying there. I think that was due to mine drags, maybe even just to splash them from those tanks. Science is gonna move into position, so a lot of SCVs lost there. Movie just being overall irritating, not really taking down the bases, but at least taking out SCVs, delaying Canata here. And I don't really know how to call it. The upper left right hand has been lost. Movie meanwhile has taken the 2 o'clock position, and Canata has 2-1 upgrades, and I'm not quite sure. I think to Movie's weapons 2, I think I saw it was, not quite sure. So don't really know how to call this game because somehow Movie just keeps getting Arbiters.
It seems close, but I mean, as long as Canata sticks to his guns, I think he's gonna win because these recalls haven't done anything. I think overall they've probably killed maybe 20 to 25 SCVs total, but he's lost, what, 30 goons, 15 zealots, 4 arbiters to do all of this? I mean, that's a huge cost just to kill that, and he hasn't killed any command centers, lost the base in the top right. His ground army cannot, by any accounts, compete with Canata's ground army as long as Canata doesn't, like, unless he catches Canata in a bad spot or something. And it looks like he's going to lose another base, so we'll go back to 3 base on 3 base, and battle's going to be really awful for Movie. I mean, Movie is macking up as well as he can, but I just don't think he has the bases really to do it, and the recall waste really is it's going to hurt him here. He's gone for all these recalls, gone for that DT drop, and just hasn't gotten anything out of it. It's amazing how little it's done considering the number of units he's gone in with. Although he's bringing 4 arbiters, it looks like here. If he can get some good stasis off, this could actually turn out for him. There's one good stasis. I think we probably see the second one on the right, although I don't know if any EMPs have gone off and really stopped it right now. And so he is actually marching in with a lot of Dragoons. Actually, oh my god, I think you might be right, Rach. How the hell did he do this? How the hell is Movie actually going to be able to hold off here? He's keeping that Nexus barely alive. 1 tank shot. If Canata had seen that, he would have taken that down. But how is Movie actually taking the field? I'm kind of flabbergasted right now. I have no idea how that's working right now. If Canata sees that, he can just wander in with like 5 vultures and kill that off right now. But Canata is remacroing up, bringing in a lot of vultures along with some siege tanks in as well. And I think that was good EMP catching 1 or 2 of the arbiters maybe. We'll see here. And no, actually another stasis going down. Oh my god, holy shoot! That's a huge stasis catching like 4 tanks and a bunch of other units as well. And another stasis catching like 3 of the side vessels. Oh, Movie, holy crap. Movie playing out of this world right now. Wow, I mean, the one thing he had going for him was initiative, and it looks like that was enough, delaying Canata's push as long as possible. And now we're seeing the critical mass of arbiters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stasis is going off in that battle, I think. 4, maybe 5 stasis. But now some vultures coming here. Will they pick off the Nexus, or are they just going to go for the probes? Looks like they're just going to go for the probes as the arbiter along with the force are coming back right now. Although important to note is that I think both players are really only mining off 1.5 bases right now, as their naturals are probably almost mined out. And it looks like Canata's taking that 1230 base, and Movie, his 4th base is under assault, so that one's barely mining right now as well. And the units are coming out of stasis and just getting slaughtered right now for Canata. And Canata really needs to try and save those science vessels. He actually gets a good EMP off, going to stop some of the energy from recharging. He can get another EMP off on the other 2 arbiters. He might now not going to be able to. He might actually be able to come in here with the Goliaths and the Vultures and the tanks. Now we're seeing the massive